Hey guys, it's me, Danny, and on this episode, I'm going to teach you the chords on the guitar in the key of C. It's all in this episode of Everything 101. Let's get to it. Hey guys, welcome back to Everything 101. So in this episode, I'm going to teach you a few new chords. Before we started out by doing the key of G, and we learned the chords in that key that you would typically use if you're playing in the key of G. Well, in this episode, I want to give you the key of C, and key of C is actually going to use some of those same chords. So I'm going to bring in a few new chords for you and expand your playing ability a little bit. So let's jump right in. So first of all, in the key of C, as I told you, we have three main chords and a main minor chord called the relative minor, and then we have another minor chord. So I'm going to teach you those. So really quick, the first main chord is going to be the key of C, the chord C in the key of C. There we go. So we're going to make that chord like this, like we showed you before in the previous lesson. I did a little follow-up to show you the other version of the key of the chord C, and so we're going to make the C like this. Typically, that's going to be our main chord. When we're playing in the key of C, we're not going to do this one as much because, technically, as I told you before, this is called a C2. So we'll start just by the main C chord like this. All right, now, we're going to also use the G chord in this key. So we already know those. Now, also, we're going to use an F chord. The F chord is our third main chord, as I have referred to it so far. Like I say, in the general music, lessons, we'll get into more specifics about that, and in further guitar lessons as well. But the F chord is a little bit of a challenge. I want to go ahead and tell you. Some people, when they first do the F chord, they go, "Oh man, I can't do this." I remember starting guitar at 8 years old, and I remember my guitar teacher showing me the F chord, and that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, oh man, I don't think I can do this because, I'm having to put my first finger one way and then the other two a different way, and it just really wasn't working for me. But I found out that when I actually sat down and really started trying to practice it, that it started coming very quickly and started becoming more comfortable and natural to me. And the biggest thing I did when I was making the F chord was to just let go of the guitar and then make the F chord again, and then let go and then make the F chord again. And that was helping me practice training my brain to just putting my fingers back in that position in a quick, in a timely manner, very quickly, like you would have to do in a song. All right. So let me show you the F chord. Now, first of all, we're going to have to do what's called a bar. A bar means we're going to take our finger and we're going to lay it across multiple strings. Okay, so in this case, in the F chord, we're only going to lay it across 2 strings. So if you look on this first fret, you've got the 2 lower strings there, the bottom strings on the guitar, the higher sounding strings. We're going to take our first finger and bar both of those, just like that. All right, now, here's the challenging part. We have to leave this finger flat, and we have to take our second finger and put it on the second fret of the 3rd string up, okay, the G string. All right, now, we're going to have to leave our finger straight up enough so that it's not laying flat and hitting the strings underneath it, because I've told you, you're going to get that muted sound. So we want to make sure our finger is straight up like this, and you pull that thumb down a little bit in the back of the guitar, and turn your hand and turn that finger straight up. And now our 3rd finger, which is the last note of the F chord right now, is going to go right here on the 3rd fret of the 4th string from the bottom, the 4th string or 3rd string from the top down, and that is actually an F note right there. And again, we're going to have to turn that finger up so it's not hitting the string under it, okay? Now, we can strum in this chord structure. Like I say, there are different ways to play every chord. But in this way, we're going to strum the last 5 strings. We're not going to strum this top string up here, okay, because it doesn't really fit the chord, but we can strum the last 5. So that's what we get. So go note by note and making sure you're getting all those strings. Okay? Now that's going to be a little bit of a challenge to you for a while, but you can do it. I promise you, you can do it. All right, so far in the key of C, we have the C, we have the F, and we have the G. Okay, and you can play the G like this or like this, you know, the first way I showed you. Either one is okay. They kind of work out the same. But so those are your 3 main chords. Now, the main minor chord of the key of C, also called the relative minor, is going to be an A minor. And so I've already shown you the A minor in a previous lesson, right? If you need to go back and review that, just jump back a couple of lessons. But the A minor is the main minor chord. So we've got this. Now, the other minor chord, the sometimes used, not as commonly, but is used sometimes, chord is going to be a D minor. Now, I'll show you a D minor. Before we did a D chord like this, and we did that in the first lesson. We're going to use a couple of these same notes, but we're just going to kind of flip a few fingers around. First of all, what we want to do is take off our second finger, and you see where my first finger is. I'm going to replace my first finger with my second, just like this, okay? So now I've still got 2 of the same notes, and that frees up my first finger. So I'm going to put my first finger on the first fret of the very bottom, the highest sounding string, the E string up there. And that's going to be my D minor chord. And I can strum all 5 of these strings. And you can hear that minor chord has that minor sad feeling to it, you know, because that's what minor chords do. They have that sad feeling to them. Okay, so really quick, let's go back over our chords in the key of C. First of all, we have the C, which is, and then we have the F, which is like this. And then we have our G, like that, or like this. And then we have our A minor, which you strum all 6 strings. And then we have our D minor up here. Okay? And that completes all of the chords in the key of C. So again, start strumming. Now, I'll give you a couple of strumming patterns that you can do while you're practicing. Now, let's talk about strumming a little bit. Our strumming, our hand is going to move steadily like this. Okay, it's going to steady up and down. And so, but that doesn't mean that my pick is going to hit the strings every single time. Okay, I just do this in a rhythmic way. Here's an example. Now, when I'm doing that strumming pattern, my hand is not picking the strings. It's not strumming on the strings every single time. So watch this, but notice my hand motion doesn't change. So I went down and then I skipped the strings coming back up. See what I mean? I can skip or I can play. I can do it going up, I can strum going down, either way. So I go. Okay, so that's a little strumming pattern for you to use. So you can do that by playing all the chords. So that's just one little strumming pattern to get you going. But notice the biggest thing is to keep your hand going in a rhythmic motion and not stopping. I've seen people kind of go, and they try to strum and hit every single time that they want to hear the strings. And that's just a lot of work, and it doesn't teach you good rhythm. Get used to just having your hand in a straight flowing pattern. and then pick the strings when you select to, when you want to, for the kind of rhythm you're going for, okay? Well guys, that wraps up the chords in the key of C. Check back. We're going to have more great lessons coming up for you. Going to really get you playing a lot of great stuff on the guitar. And I'll see you next time on Everything 101. See you soon.